Welcome back to Haunted Stories. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and smash that like to support my free and daily content for you. So gather around, dim the lights, and prepare to be captivated by the eerie mysteries and ghostly encounters that await in the shadows. Without further ado, let's dive into today's bone-chilling video. First story, Whispering Shadows. Amidst the towering pines and rustling leaves, 5 friends gathered around a crackling campfire, their laughter echoing through the serene forest. With sleeping bags laid out and marshmallows roasting, the evening promised a memorable night under the open sky. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the forest transformed into a realm of darkness. The distant hoots of owls and the soft rustling of leaves provided an eerie ambience, but the friends shrugged off their unease, attributing it to the typical sounds of the wilderness. As the hours passed, their casual conversations started to shift. Faces illuminated by the firelight showed signs of uncertainty. Whispered conversations caught their attention, yet no one seemed to be speaking. Glimmers of movement at the periphery of their vision played tricks on their minds. The normally strong bond of friendship began to fray as paranoia took root. Accusations of pranks and jokes escalated into heated arguments. What was once an adventure-filled night was now a tense and unsettling experience. Their flashlights revealed nothing but trees and the occasional glint of nocturnal eyes. One by one, they retreated into their tents, seeking solace from the bizarre occurrences. Inside their confined spaces, the forest's symphony of whispers grew louder. They strained to decipher the words but found only incomprehensible murmurs. Sleep was elusive, as the shadows of doubt cast long lines across their thoughts. As dawn approached, exhaustion began to conquer fear. Emerging from their tents, they shared glances laden with mutual understanding. Something was amiss in this forest, something beyond their understanding. With bleary eyes and unsteady steps, they packed their belongings, eager to leave the eerie woods behind. The group never spoke of that night again. Their bonds of friendship remained frayed, unable to mend the rift created by the enigmatic shadows and haunting whispers. The forest had kept its secrets, leaving them forever changed. Second story, Lost Echoes. In the heart of an unexplored wilderness, a team of researchers set up camp beneath a canopy of ancient trees. Armed with cameras, notebooks, and excitement, they hoped to unveil the mysteries of this untouched forest. As daylight waned, their focus shifted from documenting nature to setting up tents and securing equipment. With the setting sun, the forest transition from beauty to foreboding began. The first evening brought curiosity as they tried to identify the sources of unfamiliar sounds. Leaves rustling, water trickling, these were the expected sounds of nature. Yet, there was an uncanny quality to the echoes that made it difficult to pinpoint their origins. As night fell, technology became their refuge. Headlamps pierced the darkness, creating small spheres of light that did little to dispel the eerie atmosphere. The canopy above swallowed the feeble beams, and shadows danced in response to every movement. Their watches stopped working, and GPS signals became scrambled. Unnerved, they tried to maintain a sense of normalcy, huddling together around the campfire. The forest's acoustics began to play tricks on them. A voice from afar was indistinguishable from a whisper at their side. Gradually, communication broke down, replaced by unease. Attempting to find solace in their tents, they discovered that the forest's acoustics distorted sound even further. Whispered exchanges outside the tents felt as though they were being carried on the wind from miles away. This auditory illusion only deepened their isolation. Morning brought no relief. Their efforts to map the forest's unique flora and fauna had been thwarted by the disorienting acoustics. The lines between reality and illusion blurred, and they found themselves questioning the validity of their observations. As days turned to nights, the forest's grip on their senses grew stronger. The constant uncertainty fractured their group, transforming camaraderie into suspicion. In the absence of technology's reassuring presence, the forest's whispers became inescapable, like a chorus of lost echoes. Eventually, the researchers stumbled upon a path they believed would lead them out of the forest. But as they followed its winding trail, they found themselves back where they had started, as though the forest itself were toying with them. Their escape came unexpectedly, a sudden downpour that washed away the oppressive sounds and illusions. Drenched and disheveled, they stumbled out of the forest, blinking at the clear night sky. Their findings were sparse, their notes scattered and disjointed. What remained were fragmented memories of a place where reality was malleable, and the echoes of the past seemed to merge with the present. Third story: Dwindling Firelight. A group of adventurous souls ventured into the heart of a sprawling forest, carrying flashlights and eager spirits. They sought to experience the mysterious allure of the night woods. With backpacks filled with essentials, they started their hike as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the landscape. The forest's beauty was undeniable. Moonlight filtered through leaves, creating intricate patterns on the forest floor. But the enchantment of the night soon gave way to apprehension. The dense underbrush seemed to shift with every rustle, and shadows stretched ominously in all directions. As the hours passed, the group's enthusiasm began to wane. The forest grew colder, and the fire they had built struggled to cast a feeble glow. They huddled close, sharing stories and laughter, attempting to maintain a sense of normalcy. Yet, each flicker of the fire seemed to emphasize the growing darkness around them. One by one, the members of the group exchanged nervous glances, their flashlights illuminating anxious expressions. Their collective unease morphed into fear as the forest sounds seemed to amplify. Leaves rustling turned into footsteps, and distant calls sounded alarmingly close. A shared decision to press on was met with dissent. Some argued to return to the safety of the camp, while others believed that reaching their intended destination was the key to dispelling the growing dread. With uncertainty in their hearts, they pressed forward, flashlights scanning the trees for any signs of movement. The forest seemed to press in on them, branches reaching out like grasping fingers. Their flashlights revealed nothing but shadows that seemed to retreat when exposed to light. The air grew thick with tension, and the group's camaraderie began to fracture as paranoia took hold. As the fire dwindled to mere embers, their nerves frayed further. Each step felt heavy with the weight of their unease. The forest's symphony of sounds grew more unsettling. Rustling leaves became an eerie orchestra, accompanied by distant howls that seemed to carry a haunting message. The group's pace quickened, their breaths shallow and hearts racing. Amidst the encroaching darkness, they stumbled upon an ancient stone circle, surrounded by towering trees. In the center of the circle, a small fire pit lay empty, its presence a silent testament to the forest's mysteries. They gathered around the pit, lighting the remaining wood they had brought, its flames casting erratic shadows on the stone's surfaces. As the fire crackled, the group's collective unease only deepened. The forest seemed to close in, the darkness pressing against the small circle of light. Their flashlights played across the trees, revealing glimpses of movement that disappeared as quickly as they appeared. A sudden gust of wind extinguished the fire, plunging the stone's circle into darkness. Panic rippled through the group as they fumbled for their flashlights, the forest now an impenetrable wall of shadows. Their frantic attempts to relight the fire only yielded sparks that quickly faded into nothingness. Trapped in the suffocating darkness, their fear escalated into a crescendo. The forest sounds seemed to surround them, a cacophony of unknown sources. Desperation clouded their judgment, and they scattered in all directions, their voices calling out in vain. Each step taken in the dark was fraught with uncertainty. The forest seemed to twist and warp, leading them in circles, each tree becoming indistinguishable from the next. The voices of their friends became distant echoes, their sense of isolation absolute. Hours passed in a nightmarish blur, their flashlights dimming and batteries dying. Exhausted and disoriented, they collapsed onto the forest floor, their breaths heavy and labored. It was then that they heard footsteps approaching, slow, deliberate, and accompanied by a sense of impending doom. Straining their eyes in the darkness, they could barely make out the silhouette of a figure standing among the trees. Its form seemed to shift, merging with the shadows. Frozen in terror, they could only watch as it drew closer, its steps deliberate and haunting. In their state of fear-induced paralysis, the figure reached the stone circle, its presence casting a looming darkness that blotted out the moonlight. And then, as suddenly as it had appeared, it retreated into the forest, leaving them to grapple with their terror and confusion. Eventually, the first light of dawn began to paint the horizon, and the group slowly regrouped. Their ordeal had left them shaken and changed. They stumbled back to their campsite, where they found the rest of their friends huddled together, awaiting their return with a mixture of relief and concern. The forest had tested their mettle, confronting them with their deepest fears and insecurities. Though they had escaped its clutches, the memory of that night lingered like a shadow in their minds, a reminder that sometimes the true horror lies not in the supernatural, but in the very depths of our own psyche. And so, within the depths of these forests, the true terrors emerge not from monsters or ghosts, but from the very essence of the human experience: fear, isolation, and the fragility of the mind. These stories serve as a chilling reminder that even in the absence of supernatural forces, the darkness within ourselves can be the most terrifying adversary of all. Thank you for watching whole video. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and smash that like to support my free and daily content for you. If you enjoyed this video, drop a comment and tell me if it got you chills. See you for another scary tale video.